and every single team always has like internal problems, and the most apparent ones are like people switching players back and forth, especially in the latter part of the second split, which is like, oh, you guys claim you practice this, or you guys had this in plan, but like you're basically doing this just to band-aid so that you can get a good honeymoon phase and pretend nothing's a problem.
Baby, your life is definitely cooler and harder than mine, but it can be made better with some Trolli
Gummy worms?
Crawlers. Would you like one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually on a diet, but...
You can have one. Do it for esports.
All right.
Oh, so good. So, I was busy hosting the Mobile Esports Awards last week. Had rehearsal for it and rehearsal for a show. So, I was in here at the LCS as long as I wanted to be. He shot me a DM, was like, we need to do an interview. I was like, I'm sorry, we have to wait till next week. Now we go to next week, you lose a FlyQuest. What did you want to say, and did it change because you lost a FlyQuest?
So why I originally wanted to do this interview was because I wanted to clear out some narratives about the like Ruby signing, the switching back and forth, like the skewed narratives with Insanity / David being Jesus and Ruby's like the root of all problems. I think that was like very unfair, and it was very taken out of context.
Okay.
And why everything had to happen that happened, and the process before, like why they were taken in, when they were taken, and so on and so forth. But at this exact stage in my life / team, that part is like useless.
All right.
I have way bigger problems on my plate right now.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't know, maybe if we have enough time, like we can get into it. But right now, if previously, when we were doing the interview, like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
If I was then angry, because I was, with like, whether with our results or like the quote unquote unprofessionalism with like coming in late and so on and so forth, right now, not only me, but what I can seemingly gather from the team is like, it's rather not even anger, it's more like depression almost. It's like, if by then when we're, by the last interview, if it was just like, God, we want to like, oh, we're so angry, we need to improve. But now it's just like, I feel beat down and broken. And, which is, like, I kind of knew we were going to lose today, not in the fashion that we did, which is like, we got Omega Giga stomped at like 25 minutes, 10K goal difference, so on and so forth. And a lot of that, technically, for example, I made a misjudgment by letting Rumble pass. We should have just picked it 1-2, but that's like only, frankly, like half or even less than half of the problem. There's like, as far as I'm concerned, a much bigger underlying issue that was revealed during the week of practice, where, like, because I've been coaching for like almost 4 years now, and there you notice a lot of like pattern of behaviors that lead to certain results. Like before we were winning, you can sense that you're going to win, whether like, and before you start losing, you can sense that you're going to lose. Even it can be super apparent as to, like, if we're just not as simple as what people might presume right now listening to this. It's not just as like, oh, we're just losing every scrim, because even though our scrim result in theory wasn't fantastic, it wasn't like we were just getting 0-5 every single day. It was more about like attitude, energy, and just, I just felt a lack of, I hate talking in intangibles because it's hard to prove.
Sure.
But what I felt was there was a lack of commitment, for say, and I felt like, and this is a stretch, and if either players or anyone involved that was during the process wants to deny this, that's fine, because as I'm saying it right now, this is just intangibles and on borderline like a conspiracy theory, but
you're feeding the TSM fan base.
Yeah, I just felt like people were content almost.
So I knew that's what you were going to say. I felt like there was a lack of urgency.
Yes, like, oh, we were expected to be 10th place, now we're like 5th. Yeah, we had that shit game against 100, but like we can get you back together. And then there was a lack of like, oh, we want to go forward. We want to like,
There was a
oh,
lack
during
of getting
practice.
that shit back together.
Yes, like, I don't know. I think if there was to be like a play-by-play as to video of me doing the interview 2 weeks ago as to now, there will be a big energy difference. And I kind of like, that's what I was wondering too before I came into this just now, was like, what did I somewhat cause the problem by taking the guys to celebrate? But I also wanted to do it before playoffs, because I think doing it that specific week right before playoffs would just physically like mess with them too hard. So I wanted to do it the week before. But
You already qualified for playoffs, right?
Yeah, but like it's 8 out of 10. It's basically a borderline like.
Well, you're on the top half, so you're on the double elim side.
Right now, I'm pretty sure we aren't. We're probably like 6th or 7th, and we're on the verge of being below 50%, which is just terrible. And I don't know. I actually don't know. I have encountered this situation before, and that's why I'm probably getting a lot of like these
flashbacks.
Yeah,
Deja vu.
bad vibes almost, where people, including me, I guess in a sense, and there's more urgency on me because I'm head coach or whatever it may be. Like I'm supposed to be the guy that always seemingly has to have a solution no matter what.
Sure.
Is probably like the description of my job almost. And I fail to see a solution yet, but we are going to have like a team meeting when we get back to the office, and I think that meeting is going to be a make or break meeting. And I was debating heavily whether we should or whether I should go through with that meeting or not, because it's like super high risk, super high reward. If the meeting goes well, then we probably surge way higher than how even compared to how we were before, or it could just like
tank the team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think
we know those meetings.
But I think it's going to be it's a shot worth taking, because right now if we don't do it, it's just going to be
a fizzle out in the second round of the lower bracket.
Yeah.
I it's so weird how I know what you're talking about. Through sports or through seeing it on other teams. Mm-hmm. So the fact that you're kind of preempting this and almost like you've lived that life already and you're making the decision here, because by the time this runs, you already have had the meeting. Mm-hmm. What are some of your considerations? Like, what are you considering? Like, why you think it'll be a make or break, or make or a break?
There have been a lot of band-aids, whether through strategically or David coming in with a honeymoon phase and so on and so forth. But people use this phrase a lot, getting people on the same page.
Yeah.
And yet throughout the past 2 months, there was still a very basic way of thinking that was kind of off, I think. I don't want to name names.
Yeah, don't.
But there is usually never 100%, and it is generally hard, but
you didn't have moments where everyone was on the same page, 100% on the same page.
Yeah, which is the ultimate goal of coaching a team. Sure. That whether if you look at a draft, everyone's happy with the draft because of the same A, B, C, D reason. If you look at a team fight or laning phase or whatever regarding the game, because we all think the same and using that same process C, we all come to the same conclusion. That's getting on the same page. It's not even just league related. We need to have our brains wired the same way. And I think that hasn't been, like, that's far from accomplished, and I don't know if I can, but that's my ultimate last homework to do if we are ever going to do something. And I hope that gets resolved within the meeting. Or if not, by the time this gets released, which I would imagine is like a week from now.
I was going to release it tomorrow.
Oh, sure, that's fine too.
The meeting will be over already. I don't think you said anything.
After the game tomorrow.
Okay.
Because
I'll release it.
Who do we play tomorrow? EG? Okay, if we win that game, the meeting will have went well, and we will have researched.
What if it goes well and you lose?
I doubt that's going to happen because, like,
EG, they're a great team.
no, I don't
That's
think
a hard
so.
test.
No, I don't
And
think
they
so.
just got to beat up on Immortals.
Yeah, but that's Immortals, and also, like, they're. Like, every team right now, judging by watching all of your interviews, watching Travis's interviews, and like hearsay that I hear from people because people talk all the time in the scene.
Yep.
It's seemingly every team besides GG has, like, and every single team always has, like, internal problems. And the most apparent ones are, like, people switching players back and forth, especially in the latter part of the second split, which is like, oh, you guys claim you practice this, or you guys had this in plan, but, like, you're basically doing this just to band-aid so that you can get a good honeymoon phase and pretend nothing's a problem. But I'm sure, like, for example, now TL's pretty lost too with how they lost today. Oh, we thought APA was the second coming of Jesus, and now that's not working out, so they're probably in shambles too. And who else is there? Like, Fly had their little stand, and EG, yeah, sure. Like, the fact that, what was their record before this? Like 9-6?
9-6.
Yeah, they went from 9-2, lose 4 games, no matter what the context. Oh, you just sub in your jungler, hope for the best, and you put him against Immortals, which I guess is, like, fine.
Yeah.
But then, like, I mean, I'm not gonna, like, try to comment on their job, but, like, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Like,
lots of moves.
Yeah.
Lots of moves happening.
So I'm sure other teams have their own set of headaches.
Yeah, everyone's trying to hold it together to get to playoffs and Worlds on the line.
Yeah, and I'm like the delinquent that's, like, airing dirty laundry in front of everyone by talking about it.
Not really.
But another part of why I wanted to do this was because, relevant to the last one, like, they also hear it, that I still do care. I hope they do care, and just, like, for all the best.
Yeah. If you didn't care, you wouldn't have these interviews. You wouldn't say these things. You would not have the make or break meeting.
Yeah, but I also hated, like, in the beginning of my career, I was, like, very new to the scene, and 5 minutes of fame. Oh, shit, as a coach, I'm getting fame too, like, back in Brazil and so on. Like, I kind of enjoyed it, but now I'm trying to stay away from it as much as possible. But I'm basically using this platform as a way to talk to my players in a different way.
Yeah.
Almost.
Almost.
And somewhat to the fans, which was going to be the Ruby Insanity, so on and so forth, but I don't really care about that anymore. I just have way bigger things on my plate right now.
All right.
I'm so gassed, it's crazy. And today happens to be Wednesday too. You ever see the meme, what a week, huh? Captain, it's only Wednesday. That's literally me right now. I can't even get through this week. I'm so gassed right now, which I'm sure all the players feel the same way too.
Yeah.
But we need to find a solution. So I'm literally praying right now. I need some, like, divine intervention right now. Somehow. Whether that be, I think of some magical sequence of words that can inspire, or it's even a player, like a player just steps up and be like, guys, what the fuck, and so on and so forth. Like, we need to re-spark the fire that seems to have sizzled. Yeah.
It's part of your job.
Yeah.
See if you're able to do it, and if it's needed to get a win. I mean, maybe everyone goes up today or in tomorrow and is just professional.
It's like 50-50. Like, the game part is crucial as well.
Sure.
It's important that you know about the game, and how to navigate your team like strategically.
I mean,
and
it is
know all the right things.
It's been pretty wild that you haven't really talked about the game all that much at all. You're talking more about the vibe of the team and the mentality and the preparation and the emotional risk.
That's personally because for me the game part is almost a given. I'm not claiming to be some genius or anything, but I think the game part is pretty simple, especially in the level of gameplay in NA.
Yeah.
But like as far as I'm concerned, most games in NA, the main difference, and I know this is going to feed into all the like NA apologists that like shitting on NA, but generally, when you watch LCK and LPL, it's like, oh, the better team has won. But when you watch NA and seemingly even LEC nowadays, besides maybe like G2, the less worse team wins generally.
Yeah.
Because people just fail. People fail to like crawl and do baby steps almost.
Yeah, they can't play out their comp, whether it's the scaling comp or the pick comp or the early game comp, whatever it is, and the other team just does their thing.
And it wasn't always like this. I think even last Blade or even last year, the general level of gameplay was much higher, even though time has progressed and it's ideally supposed to be better now, but somehow it's not. But anyways, the gameplay part for me is kind of a given. It's more about like patience, navigating situations, how to. When I was walking to the elevator, going back from work yesterday after night blog, I just felt like, wow, I'm a professional babysitter, is how I felt.
There are moments where we feel like that.
Yeah.
Especially at the end here. You're the one that's got to sum up the energy and get the troops going the right direction. Despite the fact that the troops have been going the right direction their whole lives, and they know how to walk, and they know how to march, but you're the one that's got to tell them, got to keep marching. You're almost there.
Yeah. It's been 8 weeks. It felt like this past week was something that we went through in week 2. And I'm like, how throughout the past 6 weeks have we come back to point 0? And I just self-realized while I'm saying all this is basically my fault. Because that's like my job. My job is to not have it this way, but it did happen that way. So,
Reven, have one more.
Yeah, I need some more.
You need one more. Also, we've been going for a while, so I'm looking it up there. This is less of an interview and more like a therapy session.
Yeah, it is a therapy session.
I am very good at that, by the way. I've been told I'm a very good listener. And it is always interesting to hear your thoughts. Again, not very gameplay focused, very much on the timbre of the team right now and how you want to mix it up, but then a retrospective on how you got there. And it's because you're a bad coach. That's what I just heard you say.
It is refreshing, though. Like, I complain about it, but I also kind of enjoy it.
I know you do.
Like,
I'm good at this shit.
No, not just like this sequence, but like just with esports. Because like last year when I was on C9, around this time, specifically the week before last week, when we were on C9, I knew like that season was just like over. No, but like
Fudge mid.
No. The Fudge top Jensen mid. So when we
summer.
Yeah, when we won in summer, like I knew that season was done. Nobody could, which like the guys seemingly couldn't feel it because like I asked Sven before playing EG in a best of 5, like, oh, what are the chances you think we're gonna win today? And he said, I think he said like 30% or something. And I'm like, there's no fucking way. Can't remember if I said the exact words, but I know I told Tran, Jonathan AK Tran of Cloud9, like, yeah, like that split was done. The guys were just so gelled well together. Everyone knew exactly what they were doing. Everyone was on the exact same page. We know what the pros were, we know how we're gonna play the pros. Like that season, even before any of the playoffs started or before we started going on that like streak of winning, I knew the split was like won, basically, before the playoffs even started. So it is kind of critical that it feels opposite kind of right now. But but it is, I think it's almost lucky that we have this sequence now before the first week of playoffs.
Sure.
So that there is still time. That we still have, I think, one coin if we at least finish above 6, hopefully.
Yeah, 6 or higher.
Yeah, and then the original goal was to try to get in third if we 3-0 and some guys like go 1-2 or something. Yeah, but
sure.
I think that's pretty much passed. I think the most important thing is just get informed by playoffs so that you can just be good, because that's the most important thing. Yeah.
Well, you got 2 more days this week to knock this out. When this release, you'll probably have 1 more game left, and then another week to prepare and turn out a performance that you are proud of here, Coach. Reven, thank you very much, man. Mr. Sam, don't call him Samsung, Sung.
What a week.
Not done yet.
Oh.
But to cover the week, make sure to keep it locked here on Dagon Esports.
Hey guys, thanks for watching this episode of Dagon Esports. And you know, it hasn't always been easy getting my thrills since I'm a one-man band doing everything here. So to get my thrills, I get them from Trolli gummy worms. You know, they want nothing more than for you to bite into their delicious, sour heads and bodies into pieces. Personally, I like the raspberry blueberry flavor. It's really good. You should go ahead and get your own. Check it out. And get the mind-warping, tongue-twisting sour thrills only at Trolli.com.
See how smooth that was? That was super smooth. You good?
I mean, I guess we'll see.
Oh my God.
The result of tomorrow will be revealing. If we win tomorrow, problems will have...